be referring to a couple of books too that I think are really beneficial at this time. So it's all good. How's Richie doing?
Good. Working a lot.
Yeah,
We're definitely working a lot, which I'm sure that's kind of everybody's schedule's been a little bit tight, a little crazy right now, but it's good. We're chugging along, right?
yeah, absolutely. And you're going to see my assistant is on, Frankie, and Frankie, you could be on video if you'd like. So she helps me out with everything. And if you need anything from us, you can just type it into the chat box, and then we'll connect through email and get you whatever you need.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Shawn.
Cool. So why don't we start at like 2 minutes after, and then I'll just start kind of going through the books that we're going to be talking about, and then we'll jump into emotional goal setting, which is like my favorite topic in the world.
Sounds good. I'm excited.
Where do you live? What town do you live in?
Oh, I'm right here in Downey.
Right in Downey? Okay.
I'm right. I'm close by our office if we need anything for emergency.
Yeah. I have a local market center that only the OP and like the TL work out of every now and then. And every now and then I sneak down there and work out of there just to get a little break. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a little crazy right now.
I've been eating throat lozenges. I've been talking so much the last couple of days. We've been over the last couple of weeks. We've just been pounding the phones and lead generating and, doing everything we can.
So I don't think I've done this many videos and conference calls in a very long time.
Well, I think this is going to be something fun for us because, and I want your people to know how optimistic I really am about all this and what the silver lining is going to be. So I'll go ahead and just kind of start getting into like the conversations that we're going to have. So for those of you that are joining, if I'm totally fine, like I'm a little casual, I got my KW shirts on. If you go to video, that's awesome. And you can be unmuted. And if you want to stay blacked out and muted, that's fine also. And that we're going to have a little question and role play time at the very end. First, I want to introduce myself. So I am Shawn Pollard, and I am the Director of Sales for MAPS Coaching at Keller Williams. This is not a MAPS sales call, but I am going to talk to you about some of the resources that we have at the end if you guys want to tap into, because never has there been a time that we all need to pour into ourselves more. A couple of books we're going to be talking about, and you'll hear me refer to. Of course, my reading list is incredibly vast, but recently, this book, the Ritz-Carlton book, The New Gold Standard, is outstanding on how to separate yourself from competition with our client experience and just basically the way that we will set our culture getting through this. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Atomic Habits, if you've never read this book by James Clear, phenomenal. Get it on audio when you're doing your workouts. And that's what the video was tied to. If you had a chance to see the video, watch that video. That was a game changer for me. And I'll talk to you when we get to the 411, how I kind of took that and some other videos that I watched from YouTube to build my new 411 at a higher level. Of course, with my team, I'm on the shift book every day. You do not need to reinvent the wheel or be some, mathematical genius or theologian to get through the shift. You just got to read that book. And then this is a very important book for us all to read, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor. Not only do we need to be identifying with investors and the opportunities of the moment, the first 100 pages is all about the mindset of overcoming something that you didn't think you would ever want to do. So what we'll do here is I'm going to see if I've got the share screen. I'm going to pop on and off from doing shared screens. And then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what my passion is around self-development and, more importantly, bringing the best out of the people that we work with, especially in this climate. So real quick, with my team and the MAPS team and Keller Williams, we're in a lot of meetings right now. And in a very high elevation, we're seeing 3 demographics on our calls to the agents that are out there. And we're very lucky. We'll talk about Keller Williams, why we're so thankful we're in Keller Williams right now. because we're going to get through this and our businesses will be thriving. I think in the very near future. I don't ever want to be, I never would say I'm an expert at, you know, how all these things go, but I know we're going to get through this, and there's going to be an incredible opportunity for those that have grown and have been out there to take advantage of it. The three demographics I'm running into: get on the phone with an agent, and the first one is locked into the fear internal base. They're watching too much news. They are, you know, feeling like this is the absolute end of everything, and that's okay. That's okay. The fear is a very hardwired reaction to wanting to protect ourselves. So we let them talk and go through all that. We bring some insight, but you never talk people out of fear, because fear is not a negative thing. It's just a reaction to what they feel is right at the time. Then on the other spectrum, they're the go-getters and the drivers that are out there going after more than their fair share. And they are the ones driving around and not really paying attention to the restrictions and calling and pounding the phones. And they're just going after it. And those people, that's great that they're in that. The people I get worried about are the people in the middle that are just a little bit stuck. They have a little bit of fear. They're watching the news, and then they also see the potential, but they're not acting on the potential. We're going to talk about that today. So it's important for you to remember that fear is not a bad thing at all. In fact, if we worked more and identified with fear, we would be a lot stronger as salespeople, as business builders, and as human beings. We'd be a lot more relatable. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about is emotional goal setting. The most important thing for you to remember that when we use the word goal way too often, and it doesn't have the weight that it really should have. It's very important that you realize a goal is a statement of intent. I'm going to climb that mountain. I'm going to earn more money. I'm going to double my income. I'm going to have stronger personal relationships. That doesn't mean anything in the real world. There's no way to measure that. So I'm going to share my screen, and we can get you you know, some of the stuff that we're going to be going through here. And basically it's this: your character is not defined by what happens. It is defined by what you do about it. Clear, straightforward, easy statement for us all to digest. And let's understand and let's be respectful of where people are in this market of the moment. And we don't need to judge anyone. All we need to do is be of service to them. Fear is a deeply wired reaction that is just protecting us against a threat. I've put down the books that we're going to be referring to on this. And then we're going to talk about this idea of fear being a bad thing, and it's not. So I went through a major breakthrough on my 411s a couple of months ago. And it was all around emotional goal setting. And I learned about emotional goal setting really through TED Talks, and then started to investigate it for myself. So emotional goal setting is not running from fear, it's digging into it. Not only do you dig into it, you define it, you repair it, and you prevent it from ever happening again. You've got to break through the noise that we all create of, wow, that would be great, or I'm going to do this, and yet I don't really even have the plan or understand what this is. I want to double my income. I want to be, you know, a better parent, a better wife or husband or whatever. We throw these goals out, and we don't even define what it is we're trying to fix. So this is what I want you to think about. And I put an example that is very dear to me on the screen here. So a while back, I have 4 kids, and my big thing is to make sure that college is completely paid for, the opportunity for them to go school. Well, a couple of them, I have one at Berkeley, one's going to Tulane. I got another one coming up the pike, and so we're getting some feedback. Maybe okay. Somebody maybe needs to go to mute. Frankie. Oh, you're on mute, Monica.
I'm gonna go to mute on. I'm gonna unmute you, Shawn.
Okay, cool. So with have enough, but I'm just being really transparent. That's the way that I am. And so what I decided to do is lean into that fear or uncertainty. It wasn't that I was worried about the price tag of the school, or I was worried about the ability to be able to get it done. I realized after really analyzing it, I didn't have control of my own income. I was just basically a spectator on watching where I'm making money and not really being on the field playing the game with the money. So I realized I've defined what my fear is. I do not have control of my income right now, or the income I might need. To repair it, a few months ago, I started searching for investment properties, strategic ones, like an investment property near Berkeley or near Tulane University that we could rent out or have the girls stay at, or something like that. I've been hiring and training more talented salespeople on my team. And I've been creating new revenue streams around myself, around profit share, referrals, and a real estate team that I help to manage. So instead of just being in fear, I defined something that is the root cause of what I need to change. I have put repair action into place. And then to prevent it, I started a Saturday mastermind that was at Starbucks with some TLs, some high mega agents, and we would meet for a cup of coffee. That turned into, now let's meet into an office space. And we've been doing it for a few months now, and it's changed my mind around money, around investing, and around strategies. I've created an investment mastermind in my inner circle with some of the people at MAPS, and my personal growth. You cannot get enough personal growth because you can't give what you don't have. So the books that I'm reading, the videos that I'm watching, and the podcasts that I'm listening to are very, very intentional. So where does it show up in your life? I'm going to show you on a screenshot what my 411 used to look like. So before my 411 was cute, it was kind of a nice little piece of paper. And I would put all my big goals on here, and then I'd come down and hey, this week, this is what I'm going to work on for the month. But I would use words like this: review, a $200 commission project, need the MC email from Emily, need, list, all these different things that really are very vague. To me now, I'm like, how did I even function with these just basic goals, and who was letting me slide by putting this down on paper? What I moved to was what I use now, which is, this is my 411. So a 411 does not need to be a stagnant document. So what I did is I listed out all of the fears that I had, whether it be personal or professional. I put them into the one thing 411, and I put them into my professional and personal year, month, and week. And then these columns are live, real-time action. So I update it every single day on what I'm working on and where I stand on these. I don't just read books. I take the pictures of the notes and I put them up there, and I make sure that I'm not just reading books to read books. We're actually doing, I'm actually digesting them and getting something done. If you look at, it's easy to show and explain when you look at, my goal was to get back to running 17 miles a week. I calculated that would take 20 hours of exercise by cross-training and getting back on my program. So I keep track, I'll expand this so that it's easier to see. So I keep track of all the hours this month that I'm accumulating, the actual miles, the hours on elliptical, down to what I've been doing this week, and then my diet. So when I don't populate this, or when I don't fill it in, it means something to me. It's actually measurable. I can see how many candidates. I have not been vetting a lot of candidates in my DDADs lately. We've been down a little bit on my contracts. I'm being very transparent about, these are my real goals and what I want to do with professionally and personally. I actually even detail exactly, this one's a little bit more vague because we've been home with each other for 2 weeks, but I literally explain what a family experience is, like quality time with the family. If I keep running totals of everything that I'm doing. If you can connect yourself not to a fear in a negative way, but a fear of, I want to identify what I don't want to have happen, you are going to have incredibly powerful 411s with yourself. It takes discipline. You've got to be able to be easy on yourself too, because not everybody, I am not hitting some of my goals right now, and that's painful, but that creates a new conversation of whether activities do I need to be creating. So think and build your schedule more about, and I'm going to ask you guys today that are on this call, think of 3 things right now that you have fear around. Is it income? Is it your reputation? Is it your business? Is it your family? Is it a personal relationship? Is it a long-term goal of college? List those out, but don't stop at just identifying what the fear is. Dig in to what you want to correct. So I didn't just say I want more money. I need to have control of my own income. Meaning I need to step up and find other ways to drive income. If I want to have better relationships, what does that really mean? What is it specifically when it shows up? What's it going to look like? And then how do I change my habits to get to that behavior? If you watch that video, you would, and if you didn't watch it, I stress that you watch it. The gentleman is explaining how all these major things that we want to get done, if we chunk them down and use our time wisely, you can achieve remarkable goals. So when it comes to books, I'm going to go back to screen share really quick. And I'm sorry if there's a chat and I'm missing. Oh, God, that's Frankie. So what I do with books, and I want to show you how this showed up in my world, is so I first set the goal of I wanted to read 12 books. It says 24 now, and I'll explain why. What I do is when I get a book, I go now, a new book, I go to the page that has the most filled with text. I time myself on how long it takes to read that page by highlighting and writing down notes. So I'm doing both. I'm a little dyslexic, so I have to do different things to really embed the content into my mind. After I time that, I shoot for, it sounds crazy, but I shoot for 50 pages a day. So it takes about 50 seconds for me to read a typical page, highlight, and write down notes. I've already read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I have to add on, I finished the Ritz-Carlton book. So I've read 6 so far. So I changed my goal to 24. I have to just update this because I just finished the other one on Monday. But that's how powerful it can be if you really hold yourself accountable. So I'm not saying I'm going to read. I need to find 50 minutes. So I do 30 in the morning. Then I look for chunks of 5 throughout the day. When you're thinking at that level, you're actually getting things done. Well, what if you did that with the rest of your schedule and you created a 411 like this? You could find so much growth within your day. So I'm going to take it back to what we're going to be talking about after we get through this. If we'll talk through the goal setting at the end, and then I want to talk you through what we need to do now and where my mindset is now. There's a great sales analogy or acronym that is RPM. RPM, a lot of things people think about as revolutions per minute or action. It actually is a little bit different than that. When we're going through a challenging time or we're going through a pivot that we are going to get through and we are going to come out 100% better, we've got to have our mindset on who are we going to be in the future? What's our future self going to look like? And what are we going to thank ourself of today for doing? So whenever I pick up the phone, I keep this acronym in front of me. The R is for reputation. Your reputation can be improving or declining with every single touch and communication that you make. Choose your impressions correctly. Choose your language correctly. Number two, or the P, is the product. What are you doing to differentiate yourself in this world of real estate, in this new pivot? What is your value proposal? And we're going to talk a little bit about that on the next slide. And then M is, how are you able to react and stay relevant in the market of the moment? What that means is, how are you adjusting and making sure that you're a leader and not a follower, and you're not losing business or not going to get your fair share? So be thinking about every single call is about your reputation. Choose your stance carefully. If somebody is leaning into fear base or the zombie apocalypse, you don't come and say to them, that's silly. And you guys all know that. I know you guys are strong sales professionals. I'm just re-embedding it in you. If somebody is into, that they're stuck, we need to investigate why they're stuck or why they're struggling with it. This is a new market of the moment. And I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons why I feel that the agents that really dig in and get focused, it doesn't matter if you're new or seasoned, if you take advantage of the next 3 to 6 to 12 weeks, you are going to be able to really win in this market. So the RPM comes into play when we start talking about how we communicate with our client base. We all know that the days of, hi, this is Shawn Pollard, and I'm just wondering if you know anyone that's going to buy or sell a home in the next 6 months is dead. That's not a valid way to communicate with our market. We need to raise our reputation and raise our skill set up so that we are not a real estate agent. We are a local area expert that our clients lean on no matter what is happening with real estate. Keep in mind that a real estate transaction or a real estate home is 95% of Americans' largest value or worth on paper. That's the most that they have in any one of their investment sheets is their home. So we need to think about when we're talking to people, and especially when we're talking to people that are looking at fear or looking at not being able to make decisions, 7% words, 38% tonality, or what I like to call rapport, and 55% of body language or phone energy that we bring to a call. So you need to respect the other person's view of the world at the present time. So this simple script, and I know you guys have some that are much better than this, and you know your area better than I would ever know your area. But basically how I'm handling all of my calls right now, and our real estate team is handling calls, is the following. Hello, this is Shawn Pollard, and I'm with the Dean team. First and foremost, how are you and your family? And listen, they're going to tell you what quadrant they're in. Are they in fear? Are they stuck? Or are they out driving into the wind? After you figure that out, this is the time, and I know you guys already are doing this. It is time to build a strategic Rolodex of vendors, a strategic Rolodex of conversations that you can create about your clients. How great would it be to have a great air conditioning, heating, duct cleaning service, carpet cleaning, storage, things that are going to happen that would cause some relief around this time. I'm going to be dropping in some stories of what I've heard out there in the market to give you guys inspired on things that we could be doing. We are a strategic real estate team with local relationships to assist you with any needs that you might have. Our outstanding vendor network is organized as a resource of value to you. Is there currently anything that I could do for you? How can I be of service? If somebody is negative to you, I've had many people negative to me through this time because they're coming from fear. We never apologize. All we say is we understand that this is not the correct time. I will leave this packet, or can I email you a list of these vendors that can assist with any life-changing event. In the event, and please reach out to me if I could be of any further service. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the exciting thing about the industry that we're in. Nothing has changed with real estate to its core value and belief system. Since the history of time, a real estate transaction has always been based about life-changing events. We love when they're positive. You had more kids, you made more money, you got that great promotion. Hey, let's get you a new house. But guess what? There's a lot of negative things that happen in people's lives where we need to get engaged. People get divorced, people lose income, people need to downsize, people die. That happens every day of the year. It never will stop. If we can't lean into being a support system for our clients and handle challenging conversations, we are not going to get more than our fair share. So we want to be careful with the fact that when we go out and we're communicating with people, some people might not be ready for us, and that's okay. That is absolutely okay. The people that are ready for us, we need to be leaning into and network with them. So these are the things that I'm hearing, folks. I talked to an agent yesterday that she started a cause in San Antonio. On Facebook, there was a food truck that was stating that they were going to be laying off their workers and we're going to close up shop because they aren't getting any customers. This agent had the wherewithal to reach out to the food truck, have a conversation with them, then on Facebook, get their menu and state to her database through Facebook that she would go and pick up a meal of their choice and drop it off at their house. She had 15 people that participated in wanting food from this food truck. She went and bought it. She could have asked for the money. She didn't. She said, I'm just going to bring you a gift to cheer you up. She took it one step further after that. So she had 15 people, but everyone on Facebook is watching her do this. Do you think a few people made some comments like, why are you driving around? You're not following the rule. There were those. She was steadfast though on the cause. She then reached out to a local florist, and asked them, how are they doing? Of course, the florist said, wow, we've lost 3 or 4 weddings this weekend. I'm overstocked with flowers and no one's showing up. So she said, what if we partner together? I came and picked them up, and in unison, we'll take them to a senior center and leave them on the front door and let the staff distribute those to all the seniors that are in there. She did, and she blew that up on Facebook. Now, you could come down and say, I'm not following the rules, or I'm not doing this, and you're right. There's nothing wrong with that. You could also say, done correctly, this woman just built one of the strongest social media stances as being a local area expert. Hey, flip a coin. At the end of the day, she's going to have some positive effect from that, and she's probably going to have some negative effect. I want you to be thinking about who you could be calling that is a strategic vendor for you right now. People are talking about diaper services. There's agents that are buying diapers, not hoarding, but say, hey, I got 100 diapers. Who needs help now? I'm hearing stories of people making runs on diapers. I ran into somebody at the store that would just crack me up. It was a young gentleman that had 20, 2-liter bottles of Mountain Dew in his cart. I didn't judge him. I said, wow, he must really love Mountain Dew. It must be super afraid that somebody's going to snatch it all, which I don't think is going to happen. Hopefully he's brushing his teeth and taking care of himself. But think about what people are looking for and need help with, especially people that are financially challenged right now and are not in a good position. What can you do online? What could you do over the phone? What could you do with your sphere of influence to help people and be a leader in this time? And that's what we're going to start talking about now. We're going to switch gears here, and we are going to we talked about emotional goal setting of where we want to be when we get done here. We talked about how we need to present ourselves. Now, most importantly, I'm going to talk to you real quickly about who we need to become to get what we want to have when this is all done and we're all thriving. You got to work on yourself. More than ever now, you need to develop your routine and stick to it. We're all exhausted because we're all working 7 days a week right now. And we are working in a world where it's like being a spaceman without a helmet on, of figuring out where to go next. When we are no longer able to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And you've got to rise to the occasion. So I put together from Recharge, which was in October in Philadelphia, a couple of quick slides here from people that you guys all know. Diana Kokoska, she is the master of self-development. So what she talks about is that, growth is not like you don't go to the gym and walk out the first day with all these muscles. You have to dedicate to it. It's the process of increasing something in physical size, the process of developing, the process of increasing your value. Growth is the only guarantee that we're going to have a better tomorrow. What if you grew to be your local area expert on where all the services people could go to during this time, and you gave great information? Remember, we're going to be careful with our reputation. We never overextend to think that we know the science or the logistics of what governments or medical facilities are going through. We only look for the things that we can control. Change is always inevitable, yet growth is optional. This is why you're going to win. So many people, so many real estate agents, there's estimates that we are going to lose large numbers of real estate agents. I don't care if you're new to the industry or you've been in it a long time, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. You guys, the sales professionals, you lose so many deals to the, well, I have a brother-in-law that has a real estate license, or my son married this great girl who's a real estate agent and we don't need to use you anymore. Those people, we're going to see that pool get smaller. We need to establish ourselves and train ourselves and learn and grow so that we are, no one would think twice that pass up our name because we came through when things were down. And that's what we're going to be doing. There is always the potential and unfulfilled potential. To reach our growth potential, we have to work. That's what people do not want to always do. We got to work harder on ourselves than ever, even on our day jobs. We've got to, we can't, it's always easy to tell other people to go read a book or to go and learn something new or think outside the box or be uncomfortable be comfortable being uncomfortable. It's sometimes hard for us to take that on advice. You cannot give what you don't have. So you need to fill every day yourself full of positive leadership energy. You can't show up to calls and challenges with your team if you're on empty. Your diet, your exercise, your mindset are the most important things that you have right now. Remember, you can't break the train on development. And identify 2 areas that you want to improve on when you come out of this shift that you've mastered, and you're gonna get more than your fair share of the bottleneck that will be created with all of the life-changing events that are taking place right now. I love this line here. We can have up-the-hill dreams with downhill habits. How many people do you run into who want to have all these things, yet their habits are not supporting that? So at Recharge, a great leader came on, and his name was Jim Davidson. He's a mountaineer and an author. He's on a couple of shows that are on A&E. It's called I Should Not Be Alive. Jim Davidson talks about how to be a leader when things get scary. He's had 2 significant things happen on mountains that he's had to overcome. One, he and his best friend were climbing on Mount Hood. They fell through an ice crevasse that killed his best friend. He had to climb out of it by himself while he was injured so that he could rescue his friend's body for his family. The other one thing, he was caught on Mount Everest during the huge earthquake in Nepal, and he has a whole different view of what leadership needs to be in times of challenge. He says, remember that you're not conquering a mountain or an event. You're only challenging, you go to challenge yourself. We need to challenge ourselves to be calm, rational, and forward thinking now with what's going on out there. How do you respond when things go wrong? Who cares how many times you get knocked down? It's the people that keep getting up and have the mindset to pick people up around them. You can have the skill, the equipment, and the knowledge, and things will still go wrong. You could have the perfect real estate team in good times, and things can still go bad. You need to adjust. When we are short of resources, people and time, we can be attracted to what we do not have. People will start to say, well, I need to go door knock. I can't hold my events like I used to. You're right, nobody can. So what are you gonna do about it? To get out of these challenges, you're gonna be climbing and you're gonna be digging. And sometimes you're gonna go up and sometimes you're gonna go down. You gotta keep going up. Good old fashioned grinding it out will get you somewhere. Sometimes when you're climbing, it seems like you're being selfish. You're looking out for yourself. Yeah, you're right. You are looking out for your families and you're looking out for your business. You can sometimes stop to think about what is going to happen, but you have to commit. You owe it to yourself and to the families you serve and to your inner circle. This is the stages of staying focused when we're in the middle of a challenge like we are here. First of all, you have to develop a resilient mindset. I'm going to explain my personal belief on this, and I'm not telling you to do this, but I want you to think about it. I only watch about 5 minutes of news a day, and I watch it in the morning, the very first thing, so that I know that I'm not missing the major elephant in the room that's maybe changed in 24 hours, or the one speech that might affect the way somebody is seeing things. So I just pay a check, and I'll maybe check USA Today online. Immediately, I switch into my inspirational videos. TED Talks, and go right into programming and rewiring my mind with coffee. Then I go into reading, then I go into exercise. If you can develop that habit, by the time I'm ready for my team to come onto our first Zoom call, I'm ready to go. So we need to have a resilient mindset. You got to change. When there's change, you have to accept it. When there's challenge, you have to embrace it. When there's uncertainty, you've got to show perseverance. And when there's setback, you've got to refine your strategy. The process continues to repeat, and it's contagious. Pass this on to the people around you. It's called post-traumatic growth. What is your future self going to say about where you are today on this webinar and what you're going to take and go out and do? Struggle with the mess and the meaning and discover the meaning. Back to Everest is a lesson on resilient teamwork. He went back 2 or 3 times after he had one major challenge, and he got to the top. Be situationally aware, accept change, and adapt fast. Now remember, when we're talking to our teams, confidence is contagious. When people show up to a meeting or a call and say things with their tonality, I don't know, I'm a little worried about all of this. That starts to absorb out into the world. And there's nothing wrong with people that are that way. We need to be the leaders for our families, for our businesses, and for our communities. We need to identify what's going on. We need to be rational. We need to watch our body language, and we need to reassure. Be clear, calm, and visible. Step up and step forward. If you put a leader in a group of people that are all standing out or in a circle or in a mass, they all will start to lean into a leader and be attracted to them. It's natural human instinct. Be a leader. So that means you need to be careful on the messages that we're sending. High performers do the following things. They do more because they become more. They work harder. They learn more. They grow more. You have to go through challenges to get to the top of Everest. The journey must go on. You are going to suffer, and that's okay too. And you can even be vulnerable while you're doing this. Nobody is perfect. I had a very open call with my team where we were talking about what the struggles the team is feeling, and we were all open on different things that we need to overcome and work through. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Just don't break out all of the negative comments like there is no hope. There is absolutely hope and silver linings in everything that's going on. Then we're going to talk real quick about an author that talked a lot about George Washington. A lot of people wonder, George Washington lived, hundreds of years ago. He was one of the world's greatest leaders, and the reason, and he got through our Revolutionary War with very little support and on his own wits. So Sam talked about this. When you're growing and you're feeding into yourself, you're making good choices. Don't be a hypocrite and expect somebody else to do something that you won't do. Be a leader in life. Whatever you want to say, there's winners and losers. What the winners do is they just they never give up. Success is not for an elite few. It's for the people that don't stop. It's not that the top is so crowded. It's just that the average to mediocre is so overpopulated. We all need to pull ourselves out of that. In the real world, the lion wakes up to hunt, and his one thing is to be faster than the slowest antelope. The antelope needs to be faster than the fastest lion. But the antelope won't run until it's being chased. The lion is going to go out and chase it down. Life is not always fair. It doesn't mean we don't have to be. Work with honesty, integrity, and honor. Compete, rise, and be your best, and learn from both sides of history and the issue. No one is wrong for where they are in this current situation, and we need to let people know that. You can have any view that you want about it, because that's how you're filtering it. Things to learn from George Washington: deeds, not words. God and country. Self-evaluate. Lead from the front. Don't tell people what to do. Show them what you should do. You've got to hold up your standards and take risks. We're going to have to put ourselves out there. Training and organization won the war. It's the fight inside the human heart. Light everyone's fire around you. Be that person right now. The next person was my favorite speaker, and this is a woman that is unbelievable. So she is a British entrepreneur that is now, she hangs out with incredibly influential people, the Richard Bransons and everybody, and the royals. She has pictures with them. So she and her husband had decided the only way to get into this is by explaining it, and then I'll show you what her points or talking points were about challenge. They were adventurers. They love to travel. They decided to enter a rowing competition from England to the Canary Islands. And I think it was the Canary Islands. I might have that wrong, but it was a rowing expedition across the Atlantic. Teams that have done it in the past were doing it in 2 to 3 weeks. Her and her husband had never rowed in a boat before. They got the boat and they paid, you know, good money for this special boat. They trained in a river. They got out the very first week, and what happens? They get out there and her husband has a major panic attack and they have to come pick him up on the first week. They ask her to get into the rescue boat. She says, nope, I think I'm going to go alone and figure this thing out. So this is what she talks about. Debra talks about how do we prime our brains as we all have oceans to cross. What are you feeding your mind? What are you visualizing in your mind? And what are you doing to be a leader? You've got to rewire your brain right now to be the leader you have to be. When we're positive, people around us are positive. Top performers, 25% skill set, 75% attitude. So she started to visualize, and she visualized from fear. So I'm going to jump around on this here. She basically said to herself, okay, I'm alone in the middle of the ocean. What's, from a scale of 1 to 10, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Well, she could get eaten by a shark. That was her biggest fear. She was afraid of sharks. Each day that didn't happen, that was a victory. And then she would come down to what's the next thing she's afraid of. And if that didn't happen, hey, this day was a 4. This day was a 3. She kept visualizing that. She first focused on the negative and the danger, but with the help of the visualization, she slowly started to rewire her brain. She started to run a championship movie in her mind that she was the lead character, and the finish, she had laid it out what the finish was going to look like. She ran this over and over and over again in her head. It be positively contagious, especially when others are negative. Shift your perspective, and your attitude will follow, and you will be broken. Think about this. When you find your memory songs, what were the songs that you used to listen to that got you fired up? Get that memory song playlist together. Push far outside your comfort zone and keep visualizing how far you have to get outside your comfort zone. If this market makes us do things you're not used to doing, go out and do them twice as hard as anybody else and bigger than anybody else. Be passionate outside your comfort zone. Words are free, and we have a never-ending supply. Don't be the one that's throwing out the whiny words. It's okay to be real, but don't be a complainer and whine. Attitude is one thing you always have a choice about. Even she has bad days. She would say, you know, even I'll drive to work some days and I'm like, my God, my job is complete shit. But then that's okay. What are you going to do to change it and get things going the right way? When you focus on controlling your controllables, you're also programming your future truth. Stop focusing on things you can't control. We all need to be cognizant of that. Your leadership or lack thereof is all in your team's hands. The final person, I'm going to go through it quickly so we have time to talk, is a guy by the name of Joe Champion. He talks about purposeful life, and boy, do we have to have a purposeful life right now. So there are 2 types of people in this world, ladies and gentlemen, that you could clump people into. You've got the problem mindset and the purpose mindset. Neither one is wrong. And people that have problem mindsets sometimes are very successful. It's all how they use and go about the problem. But be purposeful when you're working with people, and keep in mind that you can elevate yourself and them by being purposeful in life. You're either all in or you're all out. Don't show up to lead gen one day and half-ass it. Either all in to lead generate or don't lead generate when you're calling your database. Be all in. Keep asking yourself why you're doing this. Every day is set up to be a moment, and you're going to learn something. Don't miss out on that. I've had some amazing conversations. I talked to an agent up in Chicago that right when I called her last Thursday, I believe it was, 5 minutes earlier, one of her team members had come into the office with flu-like symptoms. They got online, sent the person to go get tested, and she was having a meltdown. And I said, you know what, let's break this down to the very simple, the most simplest equation. One of 2 things is going to happen. She's going to call you back and say she's not positive for coronavirus, or she's going to call you back to say that she is. Let's build a plan right now around those two scenarios, and let's detail it. And we talked for about 30 minutes, and we built out a plan of, hey, if it's negative, what are you going to do? If it's positive, what are you going to do? You have two young kids at home, and you're going to be getting in touch with your husband, and this is how we're going to do this. What resources do you need? That's how we need to be purposeful with our conversations and not fall into vagueness. If we not find our purpose, we are going to miss our future. Shift your mindset from the problem to the purpose, or you will fall apart. You're not going to get anywhere, and you're not going to be able to give back. Our history was made on purpose, and in our conversations, we have to have purpose. He talks about a couple of quick tips. When we plateau or flatline, which I'm talking to so many agents that are doing that right now, we're letting our minds leak the purpose. You know, and I'll simply tell people what is keeping you from taking advantage of this or picking up the phone, and then we'll investigate that. Why do you not think this is a good time to call your database? And let's investigate that. We start to forget, we question, what is my reason? Don't go down with a question mark. It'd be better to go out and do something, some form of action, than no action. It is easy to feel small, yet purpose will keep us from growing smaller. Purpose prepares you for the future. Today is going to change. We are going to get through this. What have you developed to get ready for this upcoming winter? Life is going to change. Be prepared. Embrace the future. To do that, be tough. You got to be tough physically and mentally. If you don't like confrontation, you will not like being a leader, because you're going to make mistakes when you're out going and leading in this new environment. One thing I want to be totally transparent with you guys, we're all working a lot of hours. I actually have a little makeshift nap spot made up in my office. It's exhausting. The thing you have to do when you're going through this is realize it's okay to I get up at the same time every morning, and I usually shut down at the same time. I told my other cyberbacker today, I go, hey, I'm going to take a 30-minute power nap because I'm done. And then I'm going to get my tank rejuvenated, you know, and watch more videos. Don't like shy away from yourself. Now is the time to pour into yourself and be honest with yourself. If you're pushing too hard, if you're not refilling positive energy, and you're getting caught up in all of this, you could seriously crash and burn. Your diet, and I haven't always been perfect because I got all my kids home and we're eating. There's so much junk food in my house right now, but we got to watch our diet. We got to watch our sleep, and we got to watch our physical well-being. So that's what this conversation is about. Now I'm going to talk to you about the opportunity. And I have my wife is on our real estate team, and I have some real quality people with our real estate team. This is what's going to happen, is all these life-changing events are going to continue to go on. We don't have control of them. People are going to be sheltered in place, and they're going to want to get a bigger home out of this. People are going to be going through, not around coronavirus, but natural death, natural divorce, natural changes. All these things are going to be absolutely building up, and there's going to be a huge reservoir of transactions or of things to come and help out our clients with. This is what I am asking people to do. Don't go quietly into the night. Be calling the database that you have, and come 100% from how are you doing, and listen to your clients. Then start building that strategic relationships. What would happen, do you think, if you picked up the phone with a plumber, with the heater or air conditioning service, or the cleaner, and you said, hey, guess what? I've got a huge database. Would you give a 25% discount if anyone needs you, that I would refer you to my client base? Would you be up for that? I guarantee you 100% equivocally, they would say, no problem, I'm in. Find those people and be a leader in your real estate world. Find the diaper service that is still up and running with the cloth diapers or whatever that might need some support, or the ones that drop them off. Get creative, and let's get through this. We know that this too shall pass. And yes, it is scary. We've gone through scary things in the past, and this is going to change. We're going to lose the part-time real estate agents, because they will not be able to survive and do what they need to do to get through this. They don't treat it as a business, and they don't treat themselves as the local area expert. those of us who are going to continue to develop and dig in, we will be thriving again, because real estate will continue and at a much higher level. Now, real quick, this is why you're happy that you're at Keller Williams. If you're looking at other RE/MAX and Compass, they are reducing the money that they're paying back. They are laying off corporate people. They are changing the rules on agents as they play. And Gary Keller's not doing that. We're doubling down. We're giving out free coaching. For any of you that want to have 2 months of free coaching, when you sign a coaching contract, you get April and May for free to dig in and get ready for the change in the market. We also do a 50% off for the first 2 months, and you could cancel at any time. So we have 2 products that we're putting out there, and we're putting out all these webinars. I just want you to remember to reach out to me if you need that. We have cyber backers that can work on your database during this time. It's $1,500 a month, but I have 2 of them, and we get up every day and we move mountains and we get after it, and we keep each other encouraged. I want you guys to think about who you're going to be in 1 month, 2 months, and 3 months. And that's all we have to focus on. And don't control or try to control what you can't control, like what's going to be happening or what the president's going to say or what's going to happen to a hospital that's overwhelmed. Let's focus on what we can control. So I'm going to open it up. I know this is a lot more fun when I'm in person because it's not like a lecture. We do a lot more interactive conversation, but it's harder on Zoom. So I'm open for comments, questions. You can tell me I'm wrong on things. I have no problem with that. Anyone can speak up.
And just note, you guys, you have to unmute yourself as well if you want to say anything. One, I want to thank you so much, Shawn. I got a lot out of that. You know, I thought I was the only one that needed a power nap, but I definitely needed that this morning after realizing that we're running on, you know, less hours of sleep, and who thought, you know, we could be working from home and working so much. But no, thank you so much, because I definitely will be fixing up my 401. I love the way that you showed that. Will you share us the Excel 411?
Yeah. I'll have Frankie, we'll send that out. Give us your, we could send it to you and you guys could take mine. I'm a really transparent guy with stuff, you know, and I want you really to think about this. And if you could rewire your brain around fear, if we started to truly live and understand and embrace our fears, not only would we improve ourselves, we'd have better relationships, because everyone has fear. That's how human beings are wired, you know, and we always talk about people that don't understand the F word, which is failure. When you learn to love failure and embrace your fears, you become a real, much more approachable human being and a much more relatable human being. So I really want you to think about that tonight and talk to your family about it. Your spouses, your mates, your kids, everyone's going through these things, and you don't get through it without first defining it, okay?
I'm not scared of failure.
Brittany, do you have a question?
Unmute it now.
All right, so anyone have anything? Victor, you all good? Buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
That's awesome.
You did say something about, you know, unfortunately, people that are not fully invested in it, you know, those are the people that you're going to be losing. You know, unfortunately, I'm one of those people, but, you know, I like hearing your presentation, and it's very motivating, you know, especially in times like this that, you know, you're just cooped up and you're just watching negative stuff and you start losing your mind.
Thank you for saying that. No, thank you for saying that. And I've gone through that, those moments too. And I think it's more we all, I mean, literally everyone's had to go through that over the last couple of weeks.
Right.
What I want to remind you of, and here's the great part, is life is all around about, you know, these challenges. And unfortunately, we are so fortunately, unfortunately, we're so media driven, and we can always judge people on, you know, from our own perspective. I don't judge anybody. And if there's something else people want to do, go do that at a high level. Just don't mail in, whether it's real estate, whether I sell coaching, I sell cyberbackers, I sell referrals. I do all these different things. No matter what you do, make a stand for the quality of what your product is, and for your reputation, and then for the market of the moment.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And you know what's great to do? Like I'm hosting a virtual happy hour on Thursday, and then one with we're organizing one with our friends on Saturday. Everyone, the big thing that's going to happen here very soon, because I've been on a lot of calls with agents, everyone is driving each other nuts being at home. The next big thing to break isn't necessarily, it's going to still be coronavirus, but we're going to slow that down. I always tell people this. People are like, I'm so nervous. I'm so messed up in my head right now. And I'll say, I totally get it. And I've been there too. I would be more nervous if we weren't on lockdown, if we were all running around without any direction. This pivot and this change, this is because we're going to do the right thing so that we're going to come out of this. Wouldn't it be terrible if we didn't do that? Then I switch it right back over to, now what we got to do is, families are locked down in the homes together, and it's driving people crazy. What a great time to reach out to our clients and think of unique ways. I heard of an agent that was dropping off coloring books and crayons to parents that have kids. That was hosting Zoom play dates, with kids, and they were sharing things. Let's think about all the things that are going on in our world and the things that are driving us. I get cooped up. I have to go outside and do, and run and do jumping jacks and lift weights. Think of all the things that we're being affected by, and then let's broadcast that out into opportunities for us to connect with our database and our clients.
Yeah, you're right. A positive way to think about it is that you can go door knocking right now and everybody's going to be home, right?
Probably not the best idea to go door knocking.
No, I get it.
But think about that. Isn't that great? Like a lot of people are picking up the phone. I got into some conversations with people over the weekend that weren't about real estate, and weren't about anything that I was selling. It was just being the reputation I'm more worried about. I don't want anyone leaving the phone with me thinking that I was being greedy or not coming from contribution. I think this is a milestone on how real estate will be done. The days of speed dialing are, hey, you could leave messages. You could do mass texts. I'm sending great text messages too that say that exact same thing. And I got like a response from one lady says, please call me. That was the sweetest text message I've ever gotten. Because I basically said, I'm really concerned about you and your family. Do you have time for us to connect and see if I'm a resource, And people were like, yeah, I would love to do that. Like, what's your resource? What could you help me with? I'm like, what do you need help with? Like, do you need ideas? Do you need, just have these open-ended conversations. I think like this, and here's the tricky part. You're always when people take action, there's always going to be some percentage of the population that's going to say they're wrong. There's going to be a percentage of people that are naysayers or they're saying you're doing something right. And they might be spot on too. You could be pushing the envelope a little bit. I do know the people that are going out and delivering flowers to senior centers and she did this a couple of days ago. So maybe she wasn't on lockdown in San Antonio, or that we're doing a cause for a food truck. Those impressions, those are worth thousands of dollars, thousands upon thousands of dollars, because people don't see you as a real estate agent that's out wanting to sell a house. They see somebody that's out connecting the community and thinking about, what if you had a relative that was in that senior home and they had a bouquet of flowers like that were delivered to them because this agent did that? That's pretty impactful stuff, and that's where I say that let's not be too hard on ourselves. If we make mistakes, that's okay. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to feel uncomfortable. But the most important thing is Don't try to control control the uncontrollables, and no action is the recipe for no results.
Cool.
All right. Hey guys, if you ever need anything, Rich is a good buddy of mine, real good buddy of mine. And you know, this, I kind of modified this because of the changing times. If you need anything more from me, or you want to talk about any resources that I have, Frankie, could you type in my, well, I'll type in my cell number right here. You know, reach out to me. I'm working every day. I feel bad. My family actually said that they're jealous of me because like they don't have really any, the same joke takes place every morning. Hey, what are you guys going to do today? You know, it's like, it's going to get really old. Like we were playing so much of the Wii tennis. My arm is actually sore from last night. So, you know, we've all got to, you know, deal with this new reality. If you want to brainstorm, mastermind, whatever, I'm here for you guys. And just have a really impactful day, and take care of yourself so you can take care of your relationships and your clients. Okay.
Thank you so much, Shawn. Thank you so much, Frankie. And just so you know, Shawn, we got a couple messages. This was a really helpful class. Thank you from Brittany. I had somebody else that messaged me and said that this was absolutely awesome, and they really got a lot out of it. So thank you so much.
Awesome. I love it. When this all goes away, I'll come up and we'll all meet in person, and then let's really get out. Cause I'm telling you, we're going to be kicking some ass. Once things really get rolling, cause we're going to have all these opportunities that got stagnant, all this mindset of our clients. Be ready, folks. And that's what I'm looking for. I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.